We were just talking to Danielle DiMartino Booth earlier about why the Fed is now pausing the rate cuts. When you look at the data points that have come through so far, things haven't necessarily changed dramatically. She called it double easing that's happening right now because of the expansion in the balance sheet, in addition to the rate cuts. How did you see the explanation coming out of the Fed chair yesterday?
Well, Akiko, I think what he thinks is that he can control it all. It sounded to me like, hey, I've got this under control. I've watched the whole thing, and I came away with that. The problem he has is they're data dependent, but they look backwards. And so they can't help you looking forward. And I think what's going to happen here, and the long bond's telling you that today, and the 10-year, is they're saying, hey, we're not on the same side you are.
Was that sort of his way of assuring the markets, but also sort of signaling we're only going to do so much at a time when the expectation had gone out so far?
I think for him, it's all about the stock market. I mean, if you get in a situation where you're going to raise rates very much, and he basically said, hey, we don't plan on raising them, but if we do, you know what happened last quarter of last year, same thing comes happening this year. So yeah, to me, that's where he's headed with it.
Ted, let's talk about what we've seen so far in earnings. 339 companies that have reported in the S&P 500. 74% reported above analysts' expectations. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're in a better position financially. Expectations were very low going in. What stood out to you so far?
Well, what stood out to me, being around a long time, is this. I know how they play the game. If you look like year over year, we have a high percentage of the S&P 500 are negative. What they do is guide numbers down to a level, and then when they beat estimates, all you see is we beat estimates. We never go to year over year. If people just responded with year over year, you'd have a different picture.
So what should investors be looking for as they look through some of the numbers?
Well, they should look at year over year, but most of them won't because they get their information from just seeing what comes across the screen. But that's the problem with it all, is they can't see that there's a decline going on now from one year to the next. That's where we are right now in the third quarter.